Welcome back to Market on Close. I'm Marley Caden. Eightco rallied today after announcing plans to create a world-first treasury of Sam Altman-backed Worldcoin, as well as welcoming a familiar tech bull to chair its board. To discuss this overlooked tech stock, let's welcome in George Tsilis, our senior markets correspondent. George, I saw a punny headline earlier, and I'm going to steal it from Fast Company. What in the Worldcoin is going on with Eightco Holdings?
Well, it's a good question. There's a lot going on here, and I'll try to put all the pieces together. But I mean, I'm going to say every few months, maybe every 4 or 5 months, we end up seeing a stock that does this kind of thing, where we see a huge thousands of percent increase based on various factors and all the pieces that sort of fit together. And I think if you look at Eightco today, there's a lot of factors and pieces that we can put together. So in essence, just going back to yesterday, I mean, looking at the company, it was basically a corrugated packaging company and an inventory management solutions company with 23 employees. And so what's happening here is it looks like this is a company that is used as conduit financing for equity. In other words, it's already listed, so it becomes basically a target company that doesn't have to go through all the NASDAQ listing requirements or an IPO to raise capital. And following suit with BitMine Immersion, which is again chaired by Tom Lee, this company also is now going through a similar type of treasury strategy to purchase Worldcoin, which again is a coin associated with identity, because there's a lot of human presence that is faked or deep fakes out there because of artificial intelligence. So in essence, what happened here is we ended up with the company with about a $4 million market cap prior to today's news, and basically around 3 million shares in the float. And so in essence, the company issued around 170 million shares, so it's close to 175 million, roughly speaking, in shares now, and raised about $1.50 per share. So they raised about $250 million overnight. And so what this is essentially raising this capital to secure the protocol, the Sam Altman's open identity startup called Worldcoin. And essentially, it's kind of like an IPO, but they just raised essentially equity through share issuances. And then, of course, they're going to be using this $250 million in capital raise to support that network, which is a startup for Sam Altman. And again, it's shared by Dan Ives. And so you throw in the small market cap, you throw in some big names like Sam Altman, Dan Ives as chair. It follows suit with BitMine Immersion from Tom Lee just going back a few months ago. And you see the stock just take off from $1.50 all the way up to, I think it traded close to $83. Just a tremendous move because of the fact that we ended up seeing all the pieces line up nicely for such a move today.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. At one point, they were up more than 4,000% on the day. Yeah. How similar, we've seen a lot of public companies adopt strategies kind of from the MicroStrategy playbook. How similar is this to a MicroStrategy style move?
Okay, so it's a great question, because when I say this, because you have to consider what these companies are buying. And so MicroStrategy, or Strategies it's known now, is basically a levered Bitcoin holding company. And they're using a lot of debt financing to buy Bitcoin. BitMine Immersion technology, again, chaired by Tom Lee, just going back a few months ago, had a similar move like we saw today with Eightco. But their strategy is essentially to buy Ethereum. So these are, again, two coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm going to call Bitcoin the dominant coin and maybe Ethereum in the second or third place in terms of crypto dominance. With Eightco Holdings, I think it's a little bit different here, and I could be wrong. It could continue from here, but I don't necessarily see that there's a large market, at the very least, an established market for Worldcoin right now. It seems to me that this is a nascent coin as a sort of a startup. So again, with that said, it could have tremendous promise, but it also could be a situation where they have a tremendous amount of cash burn as they develop their crypto protocol, if you will, which again is all backing authentication of human identity because of all the deep fakes that artificial intelligence is creating out there. So I see the value proposition in this, but again, I don't necessarily see a very deep and liquid market for Worldcoin as of yet. So that might be something to consider if you're looking as this play as a follow-up, sort of a sympathy play to MicroStrategy or even BitMine immersion, which again is invested heavily in Ethereum.
And as they pivot to a digital asset treasury, they've announced they're going to change their ticker from OCTO to Orbs. Yes. How important is a move like that to reestablish yourself under a new ticker? Is that important?
Well, I think so, because you have to look at the company that they did this conduit financing through. It's a company that's been around and probably in various forms since 1966. Effectively, revenues, they did generate around $39 million in revenue with $30 million in debt, and the market capitalization of equity prior to the big move today was only around $4 million. So most likely a portion of this equity that they raise will be used to service the debt. But once again, it is a real company. It just happens to be a company that is used as conduit financing for equity for another purpose. So they've repurposed the company to become now a Worldcoin Treasury holding company. So for what it's worth, everyone has to do their own research to determine if there's value in that coin going forward, irrespective of the big move today, which, like I said, could continue just because of the math. If you look at the amount of money raised, $250 million, when the stock was trading around $60 or $70, I believe it was around $200 million in equity value at that time. Closing at around the $45 means it's trading below that $250 million equity capital that it raised.
Well, George, we appreciate you breaking that down for us for Eightco, current ticker OCTO.